Now the question is for a modern man whether to believe that there are spirits or not. Because it's a very unknown area. And the unknown area, unless and until it is fully explored and found out, always creates a hallucination that it is something divine. So we have to know even about spirits, who are they, how they act, and how they work out. Now many will say that we don't believe in spirits, whether you believe it or not, but they are there. Christ was not a liar. He took out spirits and put them in the pig. And he is the man who very clearly said that keep away from the spirits. The spirits are the people. We can be spirits tomorrow if we want to be. When we die, we do not die fully. Only the element of earth which has created us for appearance, or which is the, we can say the Jada Tattva, is the gross form. That portion only dies. The rest of it remains. And it goes into an area which we call as Pretalok, where it starts becoming smaller and smaller, till it comes to the size of a fetus, or you can say a very small fetus. It waits there. But some of the people, when they die, they are dissatisfied souls. In Sanskrit we call them as atruptatma. Means in life they have been hankering after things too much and they couldn't get to their goals and they die. For example, a mother dies during labor pains. Her child is born, she sees the child and dies. She is worried about looking after that child. A father dies suddenly in an accident. His children are left behind and he is worried about his children being looked after. There are some people who are very ambitious in life, very, very ambitious. And they die before fulfilling their ambitions. They also become spirits. There are people who are being tortured and troubled and killed. They also die and they don't want to live in the Pretaloka, but they want to trouble the people who have troubled them. So there are types and types of people who become spirits. We can divide them into two types. One type is the one which is very aggressive, ambitious, egoistical, oppressive person who dies and becomes a spirit. That area is known as the supraconscious area. So many gurus and sadhus who renounce the world and go to the Himalayas and break their necks and do all kinds of frantic things which we call as Dravidi pranayams. When they die without realization, they also are on the supraconscious side. And they remain on the right hand side of the human being. On the left hand side, human being, because human being is a reflection, or we can say is the same microcosm of the macrocosm, which is the Virata. Hence, they are reflected on the right hand side of the Virata. And so we should say that they are available on our right hand side. The other ones, we can say that they belong to the category of the people who are suppressed, who are oppressed, who are tortured, who are troubled, who are debased, who are insulted. Such people, when they die, they want to take the revenge by their sly methods. So they remain on the left hand side of the Virata and thus are reflected in us also in the collective subconscious, which is on the left hand side. Basically, these are the two styles of people who are becoming spirits. But there can be a mixture, there can be every type of a spirit. There could be good spirits also, good people who are trying to only help their families and things like that. These spirits try to manifest. For example, the supraconscious type spirits. There was a doctor in London who died. His name was Dr. Lang. When he died, he had discovered lots of things and he wanted to continue with his practice in London. He was a surgeon. But he could not do it because he suddenly died. So his spirit entered into a soldier who was fighting in Vietnam. And when the spirit entered into him and told him that I am such and such doctor, you must go and meet my son and my brother and tell them that I am within you. The soldier could not believe it, but they said that you come along with me and I'll guide you to that place. And he took him to that hospital where this doctor was working. The hospital was closed, the surgery was closed. So he went and saw the son and he told him about the spirit entering into his body. The son could not believe it. So he said that I will tell you all the secrets of our life which we spent together and which no one knows. And when he started telling him all these things, he was amazed. He said, all right, I'll open the surgery. So they opened a very big news organization known as late Dr. Lang's International Curative Center in London. Now this organization started working long time back, about I think 11 or 12 years back. Actually, I came to know about it because somebody who was suffering from the treatment of one of these people, she came to me and she told me all about this, and she gave me a pamphlet in which they had written all the story about about Dr. Lang. And what they used to say that you should write to us about your illness, whatever it is. And when you write to us, then we will organize it in such a way that at such a time, at such a point, at such a place, whichever place you suggest, something will happen to you, you will start shaking in the body, and you will get those spirits into you and they will cure. It happened with this lady, the one who came to me first when she told me. Then afterwards I met many of them, even in England I met some of them. So when she came to me, you see what was her trouble was, she said that I had some trouble. I think she had some minor trouble which was cured but was a very inconvenient thing for her. Sort of it was a nuisance, the trouble was. She was definitely cured with that. But after say 5-6 years or so, she started, you see, shaking her body completely. Her nervousness was so much that she couldn't see me. When she sat before me, she started shaking, her hands started shaking, body started shaking, as if a lunatic would do that before me. So I told her, see, this gentleman has come from lunatic asylum and he is behaving the same way as you are behaving. She says, I know, because I have a pain here, I have a problem here, and I know there's something wrong, I am not thinking properly, and I cannot remember anything, I am a lost soul, and I know what has happened to me. Now what can we do about it? Of course, I then cured her, no doubt, because in Sahaja Yoga you can, through vibrations of love, this divine love which I told you yesterday, you can give a bondage to those spirits. By that bondage, you can make that bondage pass into the Preta Loka and Vedika. But some of these are controlled by some of these ambitious so-called gurus. Now these so-called gurus that you know of, so-called, they call themselves gurus. What do? They go, you see, if they find some evil genius dies somewhere, they know he's an evil genius, then they follow his body, they go to Spashan, they try to collect his part of his body, and they keep it with them. Now the spirit till 13 days moves around the body and it starts watching what is the body doing. So when the spirit, you see, sees that his own part of his body, which is to form again his own body later on, is missing through these people and they will be doing something, so it appears before them. And they know how to talk. It's easy to talk, even ordinary spirit person, if he comes here, I can make them talk, and they talk quite a lot, all the kinds of nonsense, and they also tell about these people, what these people have been doing. So That spirit then, is captured by these people and they start using these supraconscious spirits. These people being crooked and very intelligent people, they start acting into their hand. Now these spirits are given some names, like they can call them Ram, Krishna, some people say Ain, some says Reem, some says Klim, all goddesses names. You see, they can even give the name of Jesus or something like that. So what happens that when you go to these gurus, when you ask them, they say, we'll give you a mantra. Now you think that the mantra giving is a very great thing. You see, so many people will come and tell me, in Marathi also, Maharashtrians are a special one for this, that Mataji mala त्यांनी guru mantra dila. After all, a mantra can be given. Say, काय दिला mantra? Ram. Why do you need a guru to tell you this? Use your brain. Now, they go on saying Ram, and this fellow has already connected them with the Ram whom they have appointed to get into this fellow. So the Ram enters into the psyche of this person. Mostly it is through this Agya Chakra, which I told you. Yesterday I described the whole Kundalini and its places and everything. So it enters through this into the psyche. When it enters into the psyche on the right hand side, you see on the ego side it enters it. And it starts making the man very egoistical. He'll beat his wife, he'll beat his children, he'll drink and try to show off. Sometimes such a man might get a promotion and he'll become so dynamic, people will say, oh, what has happened to him, and sort of, you see, his attention which was spent in doing other things will be diverted to very ambitious style of work. Now he becomes very ambitious, but he has no dharma in him, no love in him, no compassion in him, but he becomes a very so-called successful man for a short time. But after, I have met many like them in Delhi also, those who have been initiated like that by paying quite a lot of money to these swamis and sadhus. And before me they were just rattling like this. And they said, Mataji, this is such a lot we are rattling before you, but even if we burn a udbatti in the name of God, we rattle. We can't go near a temple. We can't go near a church. If we see anything of God, we start rattling like this, and they all have resigned from their jobs and are settled down as useless. This has happened to them within 5-6 years' time. Young people, very young. In Singapore, I met one fellow. No, not Kuala Lumpur. You would not believe he is only 22 years of age, and he is like that now. And this is a supraconscious style, they call it transcendental thought. This is the trance they use. So just by giving you one name, you must also think. After all, you cannot call like that your God, the Almighty, by just a name. How can you call him? Is he your servant? That is Rama Gadi, come along. Can you call him like this? You do my job, you look after my father, you look after my mother. Who are you? Are you entitled to call like that? And can you just tell him that you better look after everything that I tell you, otherwise I'll give you up. I have no faith in you. The man in his ego starts thinking these nonsensical things. You have to surrender to God. You have to become one with him. You have to be authorized. Then only you can ask his help. The another supraconscious people are another type of, they work out in this way. That you see, these people are the Hatha yogis, so-called Hatha yogis, because I call them neo-Hatha yogis. They are not real Hatha yogis. The real Hatha yogis never stay with the human, normal, what you call them, citizens of a city or a village. They stay in the forest with gurus. In the Patanjali Shastra, who is the original writer of Hatha Yoga, he has told there are 6 things the Hatha Yogi has to do. He has to stay in the jungle with a guru who is a realized soul, and he does not have to lead a married life. He has to be a brahmachari, a celibate person, and he has to do 6 things together. In that, meditation is there, prana pratishtha, pratyahar, yama niyam. All these things mean he has to regulate his life. He has to lead a very chaste and holy life. It is not meant for people who are householders. Here now, for fashion sake, the Hatha Yoga has come to all the people, and all Hatha Yogis such get heart attack. Yes, they do. I have met a doctor here, you might be knowing him also very well. He was a very well-known doctor, and he was preaching Hatha Yoga, and he had a heart trouble, and he was a heart specialist. When I met him, I told him, doctor, be careful about your heart, you are catching on your heart. He said, how can that be? I have taken my cardiograph. I said, doctor, be careful and don't do this at you. Because it is an extreme type of a sadhana which is to be done with a person who can balance you, where no other energy is exhausted, but only thing is it is just done for the sadhana and your guru works it out. It is done by very few people. But nowadays everybody wants to become a cinema actor and a cinema actress. Every girl wants to be, you see, certain shapes that are described in the beauty contest. I tell you, these proportions are absolutely satanic. I've read those proportions. They are not the proportions of goddesses or of gods. These proportions that are described in these beauty contest things are absolutely of dirty women. These proportions, if they exist in any human being, only bad vibrations will come out. That's why you must have seen, once they win that test, then you have seen how they become funny. These are all human conceptions, but all the human conceptions are such foolish things that they do not know that they are playing into the satanic force. The idea about cinema actresses, you see, all the ladies these days, even in London, even 90-year-old women want to be actresses. So, are they mad? They don't want to be mothers. And then they will do all kinds of dieting, torture their husbands, and they will, I don't know what they are up to. You have to be good wives, decent wives, you have to be good mothers, first of all. You are married women, you are not actresses. And the husbands also want to be actors or what, I don't know, that they are at hot yoga. They want to make their body very perfect in those dimensions that they are described. Who has said that these dimensions are the best? These days when you see men, they don't look like men, and women don't look like women. Women have started looking like men or like horses, and men have started looking like women. It's a wretched system. We have to be women in the full way, and men have to be men in the full way. You have heard about Shivaji, Rana Pratap, just see their personalities. You see, all the descriptions of these personalities going to drop down like anything when you see these actors and actresses, teeny leany people. If somebody slaps them one on the face, the husband falls down there and the wife is running away with another man. All sorts of things going on in this Ghor Kali Yuga. This is only you are paying into the satanic forces. Nothing else. But these, I tell you, these supraconscious people are teaching you all this. Then there are people of extreme nature, women especially, who are pativratas. See, they are also nonsensical people. Because you see, they think they love their husband, the whole gods must fall onto them. Of course, a pativrata is a very powerful personality, but she has to be a realized person. Otherwise, she is not realized, and she is all the time making the husband, you see, a noose around his head all the time and using gods for it, is absent. She must allow all the freedom to the man, to understand the complete play of life. These women also, when they die, you see, they are afraid that their husband might marry somebody else or whatever it is, they sit on the husband's head only. Then the mothers, some of the mothers who are so much involved and selfish and self-centered, only love their own children. They'll say, he is the only son I have. He is the only daughter I have. Now what does that mean? Why are you so misidentified? How many times you have been born in this world? How many children you have had before? Why are you so much involved into it? So much misidentified? That doesn't mean that you kick your children. Either they will kick their children or they will be absolutely downtrodden by the children. This is the extreme type of temperament. Normal people who love their children, love other children also, live in a normal way, normal, pious, married life. Don't run after other men and don't run after other women. These normal people, when they die, they go to Pretaloka and then they are born again as good people, and they, if they are born, today they get realization. There are kinds and kinds and types and types. I don't want to waste your time and my time in describing all these horrid people. But on the other side, on the left-hand side, the debased and the sly and the horrid and the murderers and all that, they are also there. Oh, these are another type. Now what these people try to do, you see, sometimes they will do some sly things. But when these people enter, these debased ones, when they enter into your psyche, you become lunatic or mad or something happens. They teach you all kinds of things. They'll teach you how to drink, to take to drugs, to do this thing. Or if you are taking drinks, they'll enter into it. Because they are drunkards, so they want to drink more, so they will drink. You will be amazed, you won't believe that in Cuba, I met a lady, she was a very dainty darling, and she told me that she can take one whiskey neat, one full bottle. I mean, I can't even look at that bottle the way she showed me. I said, how do you manage that? And her husband said, really, it is true, sometimes she does it. So she says, do you know, there's a very big, huge Negro who enters into my body, and then he drinks, not I. She sees him coming inside his body. So these type of people are the other side, on the left hand side. Now there are mixture types, some of them, you see, they are the people who believe in God and they haven't found God and they have worked very hard, sort of thing. So they try to give you little, sometimes assurances. For example, yesterday one lady came and she told me, Mataji, suddenly I found that there were some chanas lying in my house. I thought they must have been given by Mataji, so I ate them and I got sick. I said, am I mad to give you chanas and diamonds and this and that? And there are some gurus also who are working out the so-called materialization. It is nothing. It is sometimes, you see, you find in Bombay, now you find that suddenly something is missing. Most of the missing things you will find there. And these are the things that are passing out to people like this, come along, in a jadoo way. It is a spirit which is transparent. It is not an opaque thing, you cannot see. So it comes round, picks up anything it feels like, and it goes up, and it just disappears. And it goes, and it can also give it to some people there. And this is all the Vidya of spirit. Now how are you to know that this is spirit and not God? Only ask one question. What is the interest of God in giving us all these nonsensical things, which we are going to leave here only? When we die, all our diamonds, all our ornaments, everything is going to lie down here. So why should God give us these things? Is he mad? You see, if he loves you, he'll give you the highest, the eternal, the greatest, the one that is promised in all the scriptures. You read all these scriptures, do you find this kind of a nonsense anywhere that Krishna came and he brought out some rings and gave it to somebody? He did not. I mean, it can be done by him. If he wants to do, he can do anything, but he is not going to steal things. So this kind of supraconscious spirits and these things do exist, believe they do. But it's nothing important for us, because one exists in the future and another exists in the past. We have to be conscious of the present moment. And this is what Sahaj Yogi is. That now, at this moment, you must understand the dynamics of this moment, the spontaneity of this moment. So now people will say, then that means, Mataji, you don't believe in planning. I do not. I do not believe in human planning at all. Because when human beings plan, you know what is the mess they create. Everywhere in the whole world, wherever there has been planners, what has been. I'll give you a simple example. You plan a wedding, A to Z. Now you will find suddenly when the bridegroom has to come from this place to that place, something will happen and he won't move. He may have to go to the bathroom, maybe he wants to meet his mother, he will be emotionally tied up, maybe his mother may come there and she might start crying. If you want to make it a living marriage, then you should not plan in such detail. You must allow the spontaneity, the blessing of God to work out. In London, I'll give you one example. You see, I do not plan out much. And I don't bother so much about this planning out. Today, we wanted to come here very early. These people said, we must reach there at 6:30. I was just laughing. I knew when I have to reach, I will reach, because whatever they may try, we cannot reach us. Reasons for that, aren't there? And I just could not So why worry? Because I know we are not going to reach that. Of course, today supposing I have to go tomorrow, so I have to just buy the ticket for tomorrow. It's alright. There's no planning. That is to be done today. But A to Z you start planning everything and suddenly you find this is missing and the whole thing goes off. Let the spontaneity, at least in human relationship, because you are such planners, you cannot do everything else, but human relationship, at least try the spontaneity to work out. Now in the Western countries, people are understanding the value of spontaneity, but they are stupid people, they don't know how to harness it. I cannot even tell you to what stupidity they go. If I tell you, you won't believe it. There are small children, otherwise I would have told you. It's impossible to believe how stupid they are, that they believe in the spontaneity and the kind of spontaneity they have done. All the developing countries are now developing to be the developed countries. But we must also see in what HUD these developed countries are. They are stupid people. They are alright as far as their work is concerned. They are all in time, their things are all clean, spick and span. But if you see, their families are broken up. Stupidity to such a limit, a 90-year-old woman having a love affair with a 19-year-old man. And on the front page, their love letters are birthday. Every newspaper if you read, that is the first great news coming. And all the men reading this great Romeo and Juliet going on. Stupid, absolutely stupid. When you talk to them, you find them such stupid people. You don't know where to look and what to say. You have no idea to what extent they have gone in stupidity. Of course, they have Cadillacs and they have big cars and they have big houses. But sometimes I feel it is donkeys living inside these beautiful houses. In certain matters, they are absolutely stupid. In certain matters, absolutely we are crooked. They are innocent, simpletons, but they are stupid. We are crooked. Now that point I will touch later on. So let us see now that how these two types of spirits enter into our psyche. They can enter through this. They turn this. They turn this portion and put inside. Now what happens with that, with the spirit thing? There are some, like Ravan was there, who could only with speech, he could make people naked. Absolutely. We have got one here, exactly the same time. If he goes on giving speech, people start taking out their clothes. Now just think how stupid we are not to think by taking out clothes, are you going to go near God? What sort of a logic is this? When we take our bath, we are all naked. Are we nearer God by then? All sorts of absurd things are being taught and people are accepted. Thousands of people. In your great Bombay, there are so many intellectuals are doing such silly, stupid things. Then you will find lakhs and lakhs of people just organized. For what? Oh, there is some gentleman has come, he speaks very well on this thing and he is very good at this, he is a very great speaker. What does he speak? He speaks about how Radha and Krishna loved each other. Very good idea. You can have free cabaret, you can have free discourses on all the nonsensical things, debasing God himself. All these things are so interesting to human beings. Are they really seeking the truth? Are they really asking the reality? They will never reach Shankaracharya. Yesterday I told you. They will never go and find out what Markandeya had written. They have no time to find out what Jesus has to say about it. They don't know what Muhammad Sahib said. Nanak Sahib has said so many things. Kabira has said so many things. They are all fools. These wise have come from somewhere to teach us about all the satanic methods that they want to employ on us. So beware, be careful. This is a ghor Kali Yuga. All these satanic forces are acting. Krishna has said that whenever there is need to re-establish the dharma and to kill the dushtas and to save the sadhus, I am born again and again. But I find who is the sadhu and who is the dushta. It is such a mixture. The Satan had entered into all the sadhus, and sadhus are absolutely in a conflict. This is what Kali Yuga is. It's a very delicate matter. So in our own being, as I said it, on the right hand side is the supraconscious area, and on the left hand side is what we call as the collective subconscious. Nearer your own being is the subconscious on the left hand side, which we call as the psyche part, where we store everything that is dead of this life and past life. And on the right hand side is the pre-conscious mind, which we call as mana, by which we, mana is also very confusing thing, but English word is better, is pre-conscious mind, with which we plan and with which we think, and this body is maintained through our right hand side power. In the center we have got the evolutionary power. By this power only we have evolved, which is the conscious mind. This moment, now, at this moment. We can say that the past and future cross like that, and in the center is that point. Or we can say like this, that the past, the future and the past, they pass like this in the center and they pass out. So the thoughts from the past come to the future and the future to the past. But they cannot stay as conscious. For example, I say now, at this moment, stop it, you cannot. Why? Because of thoughts. The thought rises, goes up and falls down and disappears by itself. Again another thought rises and again falls down, disappears. Now you can see the rising of the thought, but you cannot see the falling of the thought. In between these two thoughts, there is a little gap known as vilamba in the Sanskrit language. That is the point of conscious mind. The thoughts can come from the supraconscious side, or can come from the collective subconscious, can even come from the preconscious, or can even come from the subconscious. That's how the thought waves are. But if you have to jump into the conscious mind itself, now, at this moment, you cannot do it, because at that point there is no thought. I am not telling you all these things of my own, because this has been already discovered by many psychologists. That one has to jump into thoughtless awareness, not into the so-called trance, but into awareness, means you are completely aware, but inside there is silence. Now this silence has been described by all the scriptures. And while jumping into that, even the psychologists, so many of them say that you jump into an unconscious mind, which unconscious means which is not known to us, achetan man, which is collectively conscious, which is universal. For example, we can say Jung is one of the greatest psychologists, and I respect him very much. He has done a lot of work on the unconscious, and he has taken many years to experiment on thousands and thousands of people to find out how the unconscious works through dreams and symbols. Now he has found out many symbols appear in the dreams. For example, a triangle like this appears in a dream of one man, the pointing downward. Invariably, in all the cases wherever such a dream has appeared, such a man has murdered someone. Or if the triangle is just upside down, means the top is the pointer, then invariably all these people who saw this in the dream and reported to him, they were murdered. There are many such things he has found out. He has found out another thing about the universal unconscious, that it always gives you a balance by different experiments. Now the medical science people have found out many things which they cannot answer. I have told you already that they have found out that the acetylcholine and adrenaline, which act through the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, they act very funnily in the body and they don't know how they are controlled by whom and why they act. They say the mode of action of these two chemicals is not known. That means one thing is sure, that they cannot explain. So we have to think why a chemical should react differently, because there is a deity sitting within them. There is a deity, a living deity which handles the chemicals in the way that it likes. The other day also I asked a question, a medical person, if you go and ask him, if everything, every foreign body is thrown out of the body, how is it a fetus is accepted, not only that but nurtured in the body? So we should know that there is an unconscious universal being which is being accepted by many people in the West. And that's why they say, let the unconscious look after, let us have the spontaneity, let it work out spontaneously. But they cannot, they are so complicated now. They have such an analytical mind that they'll go on analyzing and they cannot allow the spontaneity to work out. They are trying all their methods to work out the spontaneity. But somebody has to give an impetus, has to give that triggering, as you can say. Because through rationality, if you want to jump into unconscious, you cannot. Rationality is a very limited stuff. If you want to go to something unlimited and universal, which is collectively conscious, then you have to learn to be unlimited yourself. Now how will you do it? Somebody has to trigger it. You see a light, a deep, which is not yet lighted. It is a limited stuff. But when you light it, it becomes unlimited. But for lightening this light, you have to take another light near it. When you bring another light near it, it doesn't do, it's just like a catalytic agent. It just touches this and this starts burning. It gets unlimited light. The light becomes unlimited with a limited beam. In the same way, somebody has to trigger this. I give a very, I should say, a contemporary or a very modern example, which is very simple for people to understand. You see, in our houses, we have seen, or these Bombay gas lights, we have seen there's a little flicker going on. Nobody can see that. In the same way, in the heart, there is the spirit, the reflection of God that is there. And the flow of the gas is stopped, is kept ready. In the same way, in you, the Kundalini is kept there. And somebody has to open that. And when that is just opened, the Kundalini rises and meets that flicker and the light spreads. And this is what happens when the light spreads, that the vibrations start coming. Thus you jump into your unconscious awareness. Means you become a different personality. As I told you, you are a computer. But you are not a working computer. Once you are connected with the mains, you become a computer which is giving information. Suddenly you start feeling on your fingers, all these things. You start feeling what are the centers on the other person, what are not working, and these centers, as I have explained to you yesterday, had all the physical, mental and emotional sides which they control, and you can make out what's wrong with the person. You can cure them also by giving them these vibrations. So through this computer, now you get information, you give information, and also you can correct. You can execute also information. Now our computers that we have, they cannot execute. जी कल हिंदी में बताया ना, वही बता रहे हैं आज अंग्रेजी में. क्या बताने से कुछ नहीं होता बेटे, पाना चाहिए, हाथ रखो ऐसे, पाने की बात है। हाँ, भाषा से कुछ नहीं होता है, तो ऐसी लेक्चर बाजी है, जब तक पाओगे नहीं तब तक सभी व्यर्थ है। सब ऐसे हाथ रख के बैठिए प्लीज। इसी lecturing about divine has been done by many. I'm talking about actualization. You become that. Now always people say that, how can it be possible, Mataji? I mean, I cannot understand this question. Supposing I say there is a diamond lying here, will you ask such a question? Will you immediately come pick it up? I mean, you don't have to lose anything by this. You are not paying me anything. It's all free. By doing this, you have seen here people have been cured. But once you get it, 50% of you will feel very happy, go home and say, all right, forget it. 1 or 2 will criticize. Oh, amala kai jhalas nahi, we didn't feel anything. As if they are very great people. If they haven't got it, there's something wrong with them. They should get it. And 50% will think about it, will come again and again, work it out. There are now in Bombay, some of them very highly placed Sahajogis who are curing people. They have cured cancer. They are very ordinary people. We have one here, a teacher in the school. And he has cured people who are suffering from elephantiasis, from cancer. So many things he has cured. He is a very, very ordinary person in life. There are so many like that who are doing it. You can also do it, but you are great babus, you are great people. You have no time for all this. When I'll be no more, then you will be beating your heads, I know. I wish we had done something about it. Some of them have definitely learned the art. Like I said that there's a fan here. If I open the fan, you will get cool breeze. So you say, all right, please open the fan immediately, we want to have. Normally people would say that. Then I would say, all right, I'll open the fan, cool down. Now you're feeling nice? Yes. Then I will tell you how this fan is made, how the electricity is produced, all the engineering I'll tell you. But I have also told you a little bit of engineering. All people want to listen to lectures. Aren't you fed up of them? Why don't you have it? This is the blessing of God. You have to jump into the kingdom of God. And you just see how you are protected, how you are looked after. There are 7 chakras and all the 7 blessings are bestowed upon you with a stroke. We have here people who have been nothing in life after Sahajog. Even this one I will give you as a little chocolate over the castor oil, as they say, that they have also very much improved material, because it is Lakshmi who is sitting in the Navi. This may appeal to many in India, that Lakshmi is cured and you improve even materially. People get promotions, they become this, that. One example is our Dr. Nagan Singh. He got his realization and see where he has gone. Many people like that. He is a Sahajogi. So many people are Sahajogis who have achieved things in life, but they are busy people, some of them are. But if you could devote a little time for sadhana, and if you come here and see for yourself and give more, then you get more. Because why should God give you all the time vibrations when you are not going to use it? This gentleman sitting here, his son was suffering from too much of drug. He was a young school boy and he was being cheated, and poor boy has been tried. He has spent 20,000 rupees just curing him. People were just giving him drugs to sleep, only tranquilizers, and in one day he is cured and today he is sleeping nicely without anything. He had brought and showed me a prescription which he says, "Kitni paise padta? 400 rupees. 400 rupees poor man has to shell out. And for what? Not for curing, to make that boy sleep off. I mean, that's also a kind of a drug. And that boy is so normal today. But there will be some satanic here who can create problem for you. So you decide for yourself. आपला स्वार्थ बघा. How one gets it, isn't it? Alright, sit down. That's what I've been saying, that it just works out. It is a spontaneous happening. Now we'll see one thing, that how does a little seed gets into a tree? It's a living process. You'll just say it just works out. It is already there, that's why it is sahaja. Saha means with, ja means born. It is absolutely spontaneous. I am an enlightened person. It's a fact. And when I touch you, you get enlightenment yourself. It's a very, very simple thing. Alright? Another question? This was a nice one, because we always say of how. Huh? No, it's wrong. That is always being banned. You see, in the olden days also we had people who were misled. That is the history. There are some people, now for example, if we had Hitler, that doesn't mean he's a Praman. If we had somebody like a satanic force like Sravan, doesn't mean that he was Praman. For us, Praman is whatever achieved the maximum. So the Praman always remains the best. You see, all such people who say that it gives siddhis are the people who are tantrikas. And they were all thrown out. These are all known as Kshudrata. But some of the people who have written books on these things are not themselves realized, have read this book, that book, that, and then they have said that their siddhis are also there. Siddhis are nothing but you move on to your supraconscious style. And when you move on to a supraconscious style, a spirit comes into you. And then what happens? You start producing something from your hand. We had one lady in our Sahaj Yoga, she came to us, and when I went to America, she started showing all kinds of chamatkaras. She started telling you people that where is your money is lost, you can find there, like that. And she became very popular. She used to get 1,000 people every day coming to her. And ultimately she started telling them even the number of the Ghoda. So the supraconscious things can be like that. ESP, you become an extrasensory perceptive man, and all that is nothing but another spirit. But human beings seek that. You will be surprised. From America, 2 great scientists came just to see me. For what? They said, you must teach us how to fly in the air. We want to leave our body. I said, why are you not flying already on our heads? And what do you want to do? They said, no, we want to leave our bodies and fly in the air. So I said, but if I tell you that this is done through the spirits, will you do it? Yes, still we want to do. I said, why? They said, because Russians are doing the same, so we want to do. Marathit म्हणतात की ते शेण खातात तर तुम्ही शेण खाल का? Then they would not, you see. Then I asked them, who told you? So they said, Patanjali. You know, Patanjali is a newspaper man. And Patanjali, I said, look at this fellow. He came for treatment because he used to get this kind of a experience that he used to leave his body, and he came to me for getting cured, and he is telling him, you go to Mataji and she'll make you that. And they would not listen to me. So the knowledge that we have, we do not have a proper method of discrimination. We don't know what is absolute knowledge, which is wrong. For that you must have vibrations. With vibrations. Now you can ask all those who are realized, you can ask, is there God or not? See, the answer you will get. Wildlife force means yes. All answers come and you can record it on your hands. Even to a small thing. You must hear Phadke today, he was telling me about this. That when some gentleman was somewhere and he said that you just find his vibrations. So he put his hands there and he said, let me see the vibrations, and nothing was coming and nothing you could feel and nothing of the chakras. So Dinesh said, he cannot be there because I cannot feel anything. So this man thought of him, yes, he must be on the aeroplane, he is not there. To an extent it goes. In London there's one gentleman, he said, Mataji, can I feel somebody's vibrations? I said, you can. Can I feel my father? I said, yes, all right, you put your hands and ask a question. Immediately his Vishuddhi chakra started burning. He said, mother, this is burning. I said, you telephone to him just now, ask how he is. So his mother said, he cannot talk to you because his throat is very bad. And the father was very far away. He cannot talk to you because his throat is very bad. Vishuddhi chakra is burning. All the information you get on your hand, on your vibration. And then when you see these books, you will be surprised, they will be burning your hands. आता घरात बघा कुठे कुठे बर्निंग आहे ते. You will be amazed that how you find out who is a real guru and non-real guru is so correct with this. We have got here a case of one lady. She told me that somebody came to see her. And I mean, somebody came to stay with her, her own brother or someone very near. And she started burning all the time, this and that. So she said, do you go to Satya Sai Baba? She said, no. He said, no. She said, no, but how can that be? I am getting terrible burning as I get it from a disciple of Satya Sai Baba. Must be somewhere, you must have. She said, I have never been there. So she said, really? And she was searching him out and nothing was there. So she opened his box and in the box there was Satya Sai Baba's photograph. Our Pradhan Sahib is here, you can ask him his daughter-in-law was a big problem in London. And they didn't know how to locate why she was behaving like this, and she was giving them burning like that. They opened her purse one day, and in the purse was the day they threw away, everything is all right. Otherwise it was going to be a divorce, for nothing at all, a poor lady doing all kinds of things. There are so many cases like that. I mean, the proof is there. अगदी आमच्या अजून या लोकांनी लिहून काढलेलं नाही, इतिहास लिहिला. He called us to some place where there was a center of Satya Sai Baba. I said, Mataji, you must save those people. When I sat there, so many children just, then they told us that these children have been fainting like this. You have to do something about it. And so many children are lost. They just go away, God knows how they are lost. I told him, Baba, his center, let him look after, now I'm fed up. What am I to do now? I must first of all create some doctors, some realized souls. When I have some more people to work it out, we can work it out. But one thing is there, after getting realization, you must come and learn it and master it. You become, I'll tell you each and everything of Kundalini, you can just master it. It's very easy. It is so easy and it helps you. You know, this is the power of love. You must know how it is worked out. We know all the power of hatred only. Supposing somebody is very unkind to you. I'll tell you about my husband. She got her realization and she said, I have got neighbors, some 3-4 young boys, and they are horrible hippies. They are making noise and they are troublesome and they call me an old hag. What am I to do? They just make fun of me. I said, all right, what will you do? She said, I'm really fed up, I'm going to give up the house. I said, you just don't do like that. You just go and put a bandhan on their house. Like this. And just think of me with love. Now she says that it is quiet like a churchyard. They are very quiet and they are very kind. They open the lift for me. When I go, they help me. हाँ, क्या प्रश्न है? हाँ, काय? बर्मा? हो, ते सगळं भूतविद्या आहे. मी पाहिलंय ते कलकत्त्यात. तंत्र कशाला पाहिजे? तुम्ही स्वतःच यंत्र आहात. यू आर द इन्स्ट्रुमेंट. You are the instrument, you are the medicine, you are the curer, you are the doctor, you are the computer, you are everything. But you should become yourself. You have to become yourself.